My name is Matt Ramerman, and the name of our company is Vehicle, and we are a creative agency that is focused entirely in the mobile space. We happen to have a proprietary platform that enables the delivery of dynamic content such as video directly to all mobile phones.
How do you define success?
Well, today it feels like still having a business in operation is success. The landlord hasn't put chains over the door. But yeah, I thought a lot about this question in particular, and I think that our answer for us will change over time, and that right now, today, success for us is defined by having a customer that's interested in what we're selling, and more importantly, a customer that wants to deliver repeat business. Because what I'm finding is the other typical success metrics like ROI, which ultimately I think we will hopefully achieve someday, soon, as a bunch of steps that come before that in terms of us really landing on a monetization model for our business, maybe what the products can ultimately look like, what the delivery of that product looks like, what marketing looks like, what's our communication outreach. And so for right now today, the fact that we seem to have measurable demand and measurable repeat demand is success. And then the rest in my opinion can be scaled over time.
Where did your inspiration come from?
Kind of an intersection of two elements. First, as I started my career, which was advertising, this was sort of predated internet, having a sort of a reliable channel to connect with consumers, and so the channels we had to use were old advertising tactics: TV, radio, outdoor, and there were a lot of folks in the marketplace with 30 years experience that understood those channels better than I ever could. With the internet, with the digital age, came an absolute leveling of the playing field, and all of us could become pioneers, all of us could become experts. And so throughout my career, I've had this deep innate desire to be a pioneer, to find something new and relevant for my clients. So intersecting with that desire came a careful listening to a particular client who had a need, and we were able to capitalize on that client's needs, combined with our drive to find something new, and found this opportunity to leverage mobile video and be able to develop a delivery system that was very unique to the marketplace.
How did you move from idea to something actually succeeding in the market?
Sat on this idea for 3 years, so this is a really relevant question, and actually it was a twist of fate. I was a partner in a successful advertising agency, and sort of out of my control, my fellow partners made the decision to sell off and merge our business with another agency, and so I was essentially kind of forced from the nest, so to speak. And so really it was circumstances that were sort of beyond my control that found me in a spot where it was either I can go back to work for somebody else, or, for once in my life, tackle one of those, gosh, we should someday do this. So I guess someday showed up, and found myself in a spot where I had no other obligations other than obviously family, and it was time. It's time to leave the nest.
How did you organize your team?
For me, the obvious answer, I'm a creative person, marketing person, strategist, moving into a field that requires a high degree of technology. And so the obvious answer for me was obviously finding people that had great technology skill sets that could then help build and bring this vision of this platform to life and reality. But in addition to just looking for appropriate skill sets to fulfill specific tasks, for me, I wanted to find people who had a completely different worldview than my own. It would have been relatively easy for us to recruit developers that came from the agency world, but I wanted to find developers and technologists that didn't come from the agency world. Particularly developers that had a worldview around the mobile industry, kind of at the engineering level, because it's an area that I knew we were going to ultimately need to capitalize on, and something I knew nothing about. So the mantra around here in the first months was really trying to find people, obviously with the right skill sets, but with completely different worldviews of our own, so we could really truly try to fill in those blank spaces of the things that we just absolutely didn't know.
If you could have, what would you have done differently?
Done this earlier. So it's every day as we build a little momentum and a little success, my only tiny regret is I feel like we would be more successful and farther along today. Obviously, we'd started sooner. I think we're at the right time, but there would definitely have been advantages if we jumped on this 2 years ago.
What makes a great entrepreneur?
So this is only an opinion of one, so I can only obviously speak from my own experiences, but I really think that just takes a ton of guts. I think a great entrepreneur is obviously really brave, but also has an absolute clarity of vision that despite the critics, because in the early days everyone's a critic, it seems like, that they have the fortitude to push beyond the criticisms and the naysayers and just be utterly committed to their vision.
What role did education have in your success?
I absolutely could not have done this without the work experience that I've had in my career. Every job, every company I've worked for, they've taken something away from those roles that have contributed to the planning and the execution of what we're doing today. And so maybe fate does play a role in this for sure, but without those experiences, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
What is the most important question we did not ask you, and your answer?
I think you should have asked if I could do it all over again, would I do it a second time? And since I just came up with that question, I'm not sure how I would answer that. I would say yes, absolutely. I think building on the question you asked earlier about, what if I could do things over, what would I do differently? My only regret is not doing this sooner, but I absolutely would do this again. I had the chance to start over.